When you try to outrun your problems, it doesn't mean that they'll subside. Whatever is meant to will find you in due time. Living crazed without a purpose can't result in any good. We are living the opposite of any way that we should. The way that it is not the way that it ought to be. There is so much more outside of constant war, so much more to see. They can state their grand plans. We don't have to agree. The president shouldn't even have been a nominee. If you won't open your mind's eye, you'll never see. We are all interconnected through an ancient family tree. Since mountains were first hidden deep under the sea, there was always a greater plan for all of humanity. Hidden where you must be brave to see, disguised where they said reality can't be. Fear is opposite love. Wouldn't you agree? Either you're like us or you don't get it. There's a war inside our minds. One that doesn't move on when you've left broken fragments behind. We pick up pieces that others have had. Perhaps they left them there for us or something like that. We use all these pieces to build up a wall. We don't realize we're locking ourselves in at all. Like quicksand, our problems go from bad to worse. Some of us bounce forward, some fly in reverse. Love is the only treasure that cannot be sold or bought. Yet we throw away each other, often without second thought. In the beginning, there was life and nature, and since then, we've never needed more. We were supposed to build with each other, not construct walls that lead to war. Does anyone really still comprehend what all of this fighting is even for? The soul is the guide many choose to live without. To dig that deep, you have to be brave, walking your ego straight to its grave. Each season of your life demands a different you, a phoenix that's arisen from the battles we're due. We often carry mountains we were meant only to climb. It's not a race against one another. It's a race against time. Learning not to fear the evil because the shadow in the valley is mine. Each one of my demons I dismantled in due time. We only stay in the dark when we choose to conceal our own light. The smallest of stars can still shine bright, lighting up the night. The person you were is unknown to who you now are. You can overlook the growth when focused only on the scar. Each one of us must face our fire. We need to burn to learn to heal. You either come out as gold or as ashes with no chance for an appeal. We waste our days in selfish ways instead of healing a world that is broken. We live through our phones, and that's even how most of our words are now spoken. So many people just want peace, but they won't let us try it. When the system clearly doesn't work, that's when we must defy it. Nothing good comes when we care more about our differences than what makes us equal. We were supposed to learn from Hitler. There need not be a sequel. Saving ourselves is our own duty. There will be no help from the rich and snooty. It's time to wake up now, America, the Sleeping Beauty. For over a decade, I was at war with my own mind. Inside, feeling blue. Outside, feeling colorblind. Praying there was more than this, while losing faith that there was. I was running from myself, yet to myself, because it's a circle that we travel round here with life on earth. This circle spins you round and round till you realize for yourself your worth. In this circle, there are mountains that you are made to climb, but on the other side of them, you find yourself each time. Time is what we race against. our opponent, if you will. And even when we need a break, time battles against us still. Time stops for no man, no woman, and no child. You can, of course, pretend it does, but the consequences would be wild. Wildly undesired, but the same for each of us. For time treats us all the same, regardless the size of your trust. Funds, or car you drive. Time doesn't care about the fame. It only cares what picture you're creating in your life's frame. And the biggest lesson that I've learned from life's game: sometimes you must risk it all for a dream that no one else can see but you. If you can't change the cards you're dealt, then change the way you play your hand. The goal was never to pay bills till we die. It was to grow, endure, and expand. Suppression leads to overfill when it comes to our emotions. The same goes for the endless greed that's polluting the minds of the youth and even the oceans. The truth is every day getting harder to come by. We have the ignorant leading the blind. Something has got to change, and I fear we're running out of time. I open my eyes in America, and I cannot believe what I see. Hearing it may be even worse, but they're both the same to me. When will we see that money doesn't make the world go round, but it does make it go wrong? No borders, no nations, just people will continue to be my song. Division drives us closer to the hell which we create, pushing away each other, speeding towards our fate. We allow them to control us as we're starved of truth or care, stripping away at our dignity till our self-respect is bare. They created an imaginary platform, and on it they stand above us, demanding our praise. As they tear apart the families and drop soldiers to their graves, the purpose of which is to distract us, line their own pockets while keeping us down, as they create a world of pure chaos, deceitfully telling us that theirs is the only way to keep humanity around. Peace is just for dreamers, they'd love us to believe. Children broken, systems torn, a nation addicted to greed, separating society from one another, like the problem was ever from us. I think it's time for someone to claim responsibility for a government clearly gone bust. Maybe there's a type of art that we are yet to explore, the kind that unites us instead of dividing us more. From those who don't look or sound exactly like we do, maybe there's a reason for our differences. And perhaps those reasons could even benefit you. Would you even be willing to try and understand how to appreciate joy you first had to experience feeling sad? We are quick to think we're owed something from the world in which we live, never once asking her what she needed us to give. If Mother Earth could speak, she'd bring a tear to every eye. Where did we go so wrong on a planet made for love, not lies? We were given in abundance more than we would need. But our elected led us down a hill into their fire pit of greed. Our leadership spews hate, and we blindly follow along. We think we hate each other, not knowing that's their song, the one they sing to try and divide us, disable our ability to trust, while their pockets grow thicker from every soldier blown to dust. They create problems to sell solutions at a price we can't afford. When will we finally stand up and say it's peace we'd rather work toward? We can change the melody and sing a song of love. Nobody said that who we've been is who we must become. We can write a different story, a different chapter of the same book. We just have to come together to realize that unity is our left hook. The more we allow them to separate us, the farther away peace becomes. You can't use a gun to cure the hearts of a nation that's gone emotionally numb. We have children locked in cages, a city full of tents, while we worship plastic people and live stream their events. When did we become so consumed in the me that the we became unknown? Nobody should be making billions until everyone has a home. In a culture where we Snapchat every minute of the day, would you even recognize yourself if they took your phone away? Where did we go so wrong? Sometimes the world feels a little off course, but your voice still has a choice. No matter how bad the situation, no one can make you become what you hate. So when it's simpler to crumble and easier to cry, we have to learn to come together. It's the only way to rise. Rise above the hate, rise above the greed, rise above the turning a blind eye to our neighbors so desperately in need. For those with eyes to see, it's been clear from the start. Our reason for being here is to overcome it all together. And despite our differences, learn to connect, build bridges heart to heart. We've proven money doesn't give happiness, yet it's all we try to buy. They're selling us their bullshit and we're purchasing their lies. Will those lies succeed? Or will truth stand the test of time? How did we get here and what's this all about? We've had the answer from the start, but we chose to live without. We are meant to believe that we just happen to exist by chance on a spinning rock flying through the skies. Started out of nothing for no reason. At least half of that's a lie. We started out of nothing, that's true. But whether or not your life will have meaning is completely up to you. Waking up daily, confined to the cell inside my mind. Outside it looks like all is well, but the war rages on inside. Emotions serve as prison guards and seclude me at their will from any space, sight, or sound that may lead me to heal. I have no scheduled date to go. It's up to me to do. I'll have to crawl and climb and run before depression forms its coup. Chances are slim of making it out. I'll go down, under, and through this battle that rages in all of our minds. I know you feel it too. Separate conflicts linger in all of our heads, for no one is immune. We're fighting a war, all on the same side, in different battle rooms. It's old versus new, you versus you. And soon you'll come to find obtaining that mental freedom is more possible than you thought, for the key you've possessed always inside. To those who hide their pain inside because of guilt or shame, to those who stand in silence, afraid they'll get shushed away, to anyone who's hid their tears not to ruin someone's day, your humbleness in suffering will be rewarded well one day. Some of us are here to teach and others here to learn. In order for that to happen, We each must take a turn. One of us must light the match for the other one to burn. It's in failures, not perfection, that experience is earned. We are seeing mass rises in mental disorders. Yet instead of helping one another, we heighten our borders. We can't walk alone through this maze they have built. Having depression shouldn't make you feel guilt. So many people fighting battles within, even though who they are is not who they've been. We are only as strong as our weakest link. Humanity at odds will cause us to sink. This is one of my unreleased poems. It's from about 2 years ago. We can sit and pray for peace, but that just won't be enough. The calm before the storm has ended, and the tides are getting rough. It doesn't matter how we got here, it only matters where we go. Some people need a reminder that we reap what we sow. Up, up, and away go the things we thought we knew. Up, up, and away go the lies we were sold as true. They're gonna go up, and they'll go away. Either you're one of them, or now you are their prey. I've come this far, so no, you cannot tell me what to believe. I'm only where I'm at because I chose to wear my heart on my sleeve. Let them have all they want, because there are things that they cannot take. Like my words, and how I'll use them to cause their house of cards to quake. Have a look around and take in what you see. The world's about to learn freedom isn't really free. Yes, there was a lock, but we each had a key. The Bible is airing live, and I know that you agree. We think the little things we do don't matter, but they do. God's puzzle fit together just right because of you. I've come this far, so no, you don't tell me what to believe. I'm only where I'm at because I chose to wear my heart on my sleeve. Let them have all they want, because there are things they cannot take. Like my voice and how I'll use it to make their whole world shake and quake. They doubted me from the start. That was their biggest mistake. The whole world will shake and quake. Fragile pieces of myself chip off and rearrange. The hardest of my moments assured I couldn't stay the same. Growth is produced by changes. At times it's birthed through pain. But it turns out not a single tear will reach the ground in vain. There were moments I disconnected from the world and from myself. I took every memory that held me back and bid that pain farewell. With me, I'll take the lessons earned and kept within my shell. Chose not to let the fear control me. Instead, experience served me well. The world outside distracts you from the universe within. Faith means believing in the unseen love that seems impossible in the world we live. Too many with their hands held out, not enough willing to give. Love and pain feel no different regardless of what country you live. We've found many ways to judge each other, by money, by looks, and by pain, as if your financial or social status affects the value of the blood flowing through your veins. Addiction, the devil's disguised love, instant gratifications right now. In a world that tries so hard to make you numb, it gets harder to see how it would get better anyhow. I see faces glued to phones all day, but if you look up, you'll actually see. You're less alone when you lose the standards of who they tell us we should be. We're taught to fear our neighbor based off of skin and gossip. So we never open up our hearts. We've been so programmed now to block them. Fear and love aren't enemies because love truly understands that sometimes all we can do is get through the day, making the best play out of the cards in our hands. Suffering here seems to bring shame, yet through my afflictions I uncovered my depth. Out of each tear that became from my choices, I have not one regret. This is a poem that I wrote in May of 2020. I have a controversial question that I must get off my chest. Before you continue any further, it's the Bible that's addressed. No judgment if you don't agree. For my vision, I am blessed. But I'm pretty sure that time is up and humanity has failed God's test. Each week we sit in churches and listen to the stories of how Jesus died for us, then rose again to glory. We're forgetting to input ourselves into the suggested allegory. We're watching the Bible play out live, but won't believe it till it's gory. Seeing is believing, and faith's convinced while blind. God's last trump unfolding right here in real time. He told you he would do it, and everything's been done. Judgment is non-communal. It's each soul one-on-one. All the info has been shared. We've had ample time. Do you truly believe the Bible or assume their stories left to die? New age lies are spreading faster than a jet. Weren't you deep down wondering why we haven't been bombed yet? God's plan, not man's, perfect as he. If you don't believe it now, just sit back and grab a seat. The perfect storm on center stage, curtains ready to draw. He will show you what's been hidden, giving purpose to every flaw. Then he'll turn it around right in front of you and lovingly fix it all. All humanity united, not feeding the fear. This is a poem from my book. In the world I know we push away each other, programmed to be enemies instead of sisters and brothers. In the world I know the children stand no chance of a future worth fighting for. Either they're exploited on the internet or even placed in a cage with hundreds more. Either way, this is a moral low that we have never experienced before. The world I know, we watch our leaders lie, then in the same breath tell us to believe them or we'll die. All the while you can hear screaming mothers cry because when they bravely fled to safety, they lost their kids with no goodbye. The world I live in, we refuse to see the beauty, like walking with glasses, lenses color of rose. Except this time the wine was poison, and when we speak, out the venom flows. We choose to keep the glasses on, even when they're altering how we interpret what we see, because it's easier to follow the majority than to fact check for yourself and maybe disagree. The country that I live in would love to lock you in a cage. Don't let them catch you demanding change or asking them to stand by the untruths they've arranged. Once they get you in there, you'll be surrounded by the others that were thrown away by a broken system that will likely never recover. I want to live in a world where we make people better, notice their storm and lend them our sweater. Adding rain to the swimming pool will only make it wetter, just as speaking love into each breath can only make our world better. The world I live in, fear overpowers love. The state of our mind determines who and what will become. If we run around scared because they tell us to be, we're giving up on our dreams and our desire to be free. The world I live in, we're distracted by so much. It's easy to forget that life could change with a single touch, or from a conversation with someone with whom you haven't spoken too much. You'll notice we're all broken and meant to be each other's crutch. We hate to accept that we're all connected. Then we'd have to admit our judgments are wrong. The more different they make us feel, the less likely we'll be strong. Why allow them to keep us separate based off of color, money, and social standing? Misery loves company, and you're in for non-cushioned landing. The world I want to live in is like the one I live in now, except we all put down our differences and fix this shit somehow. Leaders need to be leaders and stop stirring up more trouble. They want us to light the fires so they can strand us in the rubble. It's not senseless to believe that you can make a change by being the change you wish to see. Mother Earth is begging us to wake up, fierceness of her power put on display for all to see. The person that you're being now is not the one you need always be. Imagine if the next step in the human evolution began through you and me. Look before you leap, but leap when you feel called. Trust yourself to feel, but always question appearances. Trust is earned, not given, and there are no exceptions. Things I'd tell my younger self. I'd tell her that the finish line doesn't matter as much as you think it does. Matter of fact, there really isn't a finish line at all. And even if there was, you'd go around it. Find a new adventure anyway. I tell her that no matter how much they try and make you hate yourself, always look for the light, even the smallest speck. It is there, and you will find it if you just look hard enough. I tell her that there is a voice inside your head that you can trust, but there is one that is equally as destructive. If you don't make the conscious decision which voice to listen to, the destructive one will win. So that you earn the lesson of learning that the choice is actually yours. And what happens when you choose wrong. Or even worse, when you don't choose, and you allow yourself to be left in the darkness in any way. I tell her to never stop digging deeper, even when everyone calls you crazy for carrying around the shovel. They just aren't brave enough, and you are. They will judge you, mock you behind your back and to your face, lie, deceive, manipulate, and even cast spells. Let them. For they know not what they do, and these very tests will become your greatest weapon. For the pain they make you endure will actually give you a key to finally breaking free of the mental prison you're trapped in a way that you could never see coming. And it makes each millisecond of blood, sweat, and tears profoundly worth it beyond your wildest imaginations, even before the victory itself actually comes. If I could tell little me one thing, just one, if I had to pick out of the millions swirling around in my mind, it would be to open your eyes and see the beauty right before you, because God gives you all that you need. And if you don't let the world distract you with what you think you want, you'll be able to see that a lot more clearly. I would tell the most recent version of me before this one that the night is only darkest before the dawn. That pain serves such a profound purpose, and that when you walk by faith, you walk by sight. Now, some may have expected to hear how I would tell little me to beware of fake friends and haters, but no, because unless I value your opinion, then all you ever were was a lesson to me, and you don't get the satisfaction of getting any more lines in my movie. Not anymore. Little me, I'm proud of you. And I know that you won't hear that until a long time from the little version that I'm speaking to. But one day you will hear it. And you will hear it from all the people who are the exact reason you made so many sacrifices. We've been heading towards a wall that is yet to fall apart. Shattered all around, we can then rebuild ourselves as art. Hitting that dead end provides us a chance to change. We get to face our ugly to see that things can't stay the same. It's time for us to stop looking for somebody else to blame. We talk about hell like it's somewhere else, not realizing our front row view. They will crucify us if given our trust, replacing the nail with a screw. They create the theatrics to throw us off track from seeing what's clearly in front of our eyes, so that when they finally wage war, we can know at our core it shouldn't come as a surprise. Please tell me how we got here, to this point of no return. History books and Bibles, yet we just refused to learn. We have the information that could save us from ourselves, yet we all run around adding to each other's hell. The more negativity you produce, the more that you'll receive. Nobody gets off easy for making others grieve. You can't unlight a fire, but it sure can be contained. You can drown in blood or water and be equally as pained. We are meant to come together, not maliciously kept apart. We had literature from the very first days on what to do when this should start. Beauty comes from rebuilding, and bombs pour bowls of blood. He did say, like days of Noah, but he also said no flood. No matter the plans we may make for our lives, there are always parts subject to change. We reconstruct after breaking. Pieces fall away to be rearranged. We can't become who we're meant to be until our ghost is fully exchanged. Turns out here, freedom isn't free. They may be speaking of your body, but you've got to free your mind. A maze between your ears, designed to grow you through your fears. Preps you to accept the love you've been missing all these years. We were always meant to break. We were always meant to bend. Pick up all the pieces and help each other mend. We'd leave a little of our soul with everyone we meet. We were never meant to split and be left as incomplete. We get so worried about what's to come that we ruin what's here right now, allowing the media to make skin color a weapon, which in no way should we allow. We act like we singly have something to prove. Well, congrats, well done, take a bow. There's no turning back from the fate we create. Heaven and hell are both satisfied now. There's a storm brewing in the distance, on its way to bring attention to humanity's resistance. As our earth tries to prove we need each other's assistance, if we plan on staying any longer to continue our existence. Tornado winds spun up faster than the stories we've been told, as the skies explode with lightning, bright enough to show we're sold. Wiping out the futures as we flood the world with tears, as we wonder how this hurricane was built up through the years. Thunder rolling in from miles across the sky, everyone watching, breath held on standby. There is an event unfolding. Better grab your suit and tie. Without looking super wealthy, they'll leave you out to die. Either hand over your dignity or be jailed when you defy. If you have someone to say it to, better whisper your goodbye. We must be consumed wholly in darkness to be forced to focus on the light. Getting away with abuse of power when it's right in the line of sight is something that can no longer happen, but we're silenced when fighting for our rights. Too many people just following orders. They'll tell you the same as they take your sons and your daughters. How did we arrive here at wherever it is we are? The laws that claim we're equals have been quite a joke thus far. Switch on the news for just 5 minutes and tell me where our morals are. It's evident that racism is more than just an ugly scar. How can we ever live in peace when we don't play by the same rules? The 13th Amendment really fixing that is a belief amongst the fools. The disadvantage of skin color has been one of their biggest tools, allowing those with privileges to twist and bend the rules. All of this causing oppression deceit, and disgraceful disrespect. If you're claiming we're all equal, I sincerely have to object. This is a poem that I wrote. It's called No Justice, No Peace. It's one of those poems that the first letter of each line says no justice, no peace. Now, where can we go from here with our issues in the open? The justice system is completely useless when so broken. Systematic slavery of those whose names often go unspoken is proof we need to change course from the one that's been previously chosen. Eons of advancement in technology, none in basic human emotion. We have those who view the ability to oppress as a deranged human promotion. People deprived of the rights of which our Constitution is woven, even though all the media can focus on is property that's been stolen. Allowing the country to burn because some politicians' egos are swollen. This can only lead to chaos from a people whose advancement has been frozen by those who think they rule the earth. It's none of our jobs to determine each other's worth. Now it's time for me to escort you from this VIP section. See, I no longer live my life sitting in question. And if you haven't had what's best for me at interest in your heart, it's time for you to leave the stadium. You can't witness my fresh start. See, everything you sent to break me built me both inside and out. Thanks to the dirt thrown on my name, I learned to push through when pushed out. The circle I was thrown from, it's good to get away. Because the view from the outside shows you people just aren't who you say. I've heard so many things about myself that I could probably fill a book. I'd title it, If Only They Knew Half of What It Took. Now I'm not back to prove I'm right or that anybody's wrong. Just here to show you I don't stay broken, at least not for very long. La-di-da, I just don't care anymore what you will say. If you really had to put on my shoes, I doubt you could lift them to walk away. Now, in no way am I saying I'm better for what you did. I'm saying I'm better because of who I chose to become from it. Welcome to my reckoning. Humans with no humanity, that's a recipe for disaster. When we behave like muted sheep, it only intensifies their laughter. If you think we are declining now, just wait. We can do it faster. It's not actually your belongings. It's your very soul they're after. Too many people staying silent about the rights we all deserve. Just having to reiterate that Black lives do matter puts us years behind the curve. We are here to create, to grow, and to love, not consume, conform, and serve. But so few are allowed to access the human decencies that we all deserve. We are trapped inside of a hateful system that so many refuse to see. They will not care for or save you regardless of your pleas. The time to talk of change is over. It's clear our strategies so far aren't helping. Dogs used to be locked in cages, but now it's children yelping. If that last line is hard to swallow, you're on the right track. We've been playing in a game that's rigged, and now it's time to take it back. I had to face my darkest times entirely on my own. I took a few steps backward, began to reap what I had sown. Each of us has a journey with choices that make us who we are. If you fall in line and not in love, don't expect to make it very far. I refuse to accept an existence of consume, be quiet, die. I used to be afraid of crowds, but now I guess I'll try. I was drowning once before, but we have magic deep inside. What's the point in even living if it's illegal to feel alive? Fear makes the wolf look bigger. So I went all in and pulled that trigger. Chose to speak up while my voice shook. You just can't understand how much that took. They thought my influence would have no power, but I'm fragile like a bomb, not a flower. Whatever stands in my way gets devoured. All along I heard the whispers whenever I was near. Before I could ignore them, I had to make my conscience clear. There's no way to expose me. My heart is right here on my sleeve. The same me as before, just a whole lot less naive. You require nothing outside of yourself. You can move mountains with what's locked within. Did you ever think that maybe they're lying to us? Even the first humans had original sin. They're distracting us with the 9 to 5 so you can't see the labyrinth built in. You can't win if you never know when or where to begin. We aren't here without objective, perhaps here to gain perspective. You're going to need a whole lot of faith before you can feel a love as sent from above. Hope is what guides us to the gates. Planning on multiplying hate times hate? Imagine the type of world that would actually generate. We're standing on the edge of a collapse as we blindly walk into their traps. Perhaps we were always meant to break. We were always meant to bend. Pick up all the pieces and help each other mend. We'd leave a little of our soul with everyone we meet. We were never meant to split and remain as incomplete. We were always just a heart in search of why it beats. What else holds more value than love? Cash can be burned, even governments fail. We're sailing on a stormy sea with them as our sail. It's time to jump ship if you wish to prevail. The wreck's gonna cause the whole train to derail. Heaven's packing up and hell's hot on our trail. Maybe hitting that dead end provides us a chance to change. We have to face our ugly to see that things can't stay the same. It's time for us to stop looking for somebody else to blame. You can't unspark a fire, but it sure can be contained. Writer's block had me for a minute, but it's time that now I'm back. I can't be the only one to realize our democracy is under attack. None of this is meant to change you. It's here to show you who you are. Ushering out hate like an oil spill, distracting us from what's really going on at Capitol Hill. Do you really believe that those who failed us will turn it around? We would have better luck electing Twisty the Clown. When those in charge wear greed like a pin on their suits, and every law that they sign seems to only bring us further away from our roots. Is it even still legal to have an opinion? With an opened mind, please listen to mine about the country we live in. Land of the brave and home of the free has turned into quite the sight to see. Violence in cities incite it, so nobody will notice the attack on each citizen delivered by POTUS. Don't forget his minions that are yes men to the grave, and that's probably good since they also will not be saved. What good could ever come of instilling in us mountains of fear? They talk about terrorists like there aren't ones representing us here. Slavery revamped and was given a new name. We now call them inmates, and it's not limited to race. Whenever it was that the few decided they were more important than the many, was the day they started skimping from their own people while leaving themselves plenty. We stopped wanting better for each other, started expecting the worst, and continuing down this path will only prolong us feeling cursed. Those with half a brain know they can't profit from peace. That's why any hope of that they are causing to cease. If we remain scared of each other instead of coming together, The storm that they're serving, we won't be able to weather. Please, someone help me restore common sense. The stories they tell are so over the fence. If it's too hard for you to see that our ships began to sink, just hang tight, you'll notice very soon as your rights begin to shrink. Frustration takes over every fiber of my being. If I close my eyes hard enough, I can see myself fleeing to somewhere warm and stressless where I can do some sightseeing, release all of the negativity, spoiling my well-being. I'd run till I passed out if I knew that I could see whatever's waiting across that mountaintop for me. In facing my demons, I never plotted escape, but frustration will cause the brain itself to reshape. When you can't fix what's outside, you bring it within, shoving all of that pressure deep under your skin. Some things we can't change, we must leave them to fate, but patience is not the most natural trait. Fear will produce anger, and anger to rage, so it's better to leave them both locked in their cage. I gotta have faith that there's a purpose for this, that one day maybe I will sit back to reminisce. I'll ponder how I made it here to finally earning bliss. Chop the head right off that snake. Now you'll never hear him hiss. After you've been kicked down more times than you can count, you learn to insulate, take your fears and lock them out. We push away anyone liable to learn our secret, that the demons in our heads don't just stop when it's convenient. It's not the drugs that make an addict, it's the need to just escape. Run far away from trauma, bust right through the caution tape. Each of us will make mistakes, each must take a fall. Pain binds us all the most, take your turn then pass the ball. The courage deep within your heart, you'll need out on your sleeve. Just be careful who you hang around because many will deceive. They'll kick you when you're down just to raise themselves up higher, thinking life's a competition and revenge the multiplier. We need to stop deflecting unhappiness onto those who don't deserve it. Each of us with a beating heart should find a way to serve it. We're too caught up in the day-to-day, but when you stand back and be observant, all we want are real human connections, not wars planned behind closed curtains. I turned on the news today and saw humans, but no humanity. It's finally gotten past the point of blaming this just on vanity. We're slipping through the cracked ice, plummeting into insanity. But as we watch our political leaders lie, we still blame this on Christianity. It's time for us to wake up and show them this is not okay. I saw new parents hand their baby to a soldier over top a fence on the news today. Because money now literally decides who will live and who will die. And before you argue that I'm wrong, imagine you're that mom who didn't get to tell her baby goodbye. Welcome to America, where soon you'll need a booster just to breathe. Welcome to America, land of more distractions than you'd even believe. Welcome to America, home of the brave and land of the naive. Welcome to America, where we won't believe what's in front of us till we're down on our knees. America the beautiful, promised no man left behind. America the beautiful, we've got the dumb leading the blind. America the beautiful, we lost our New York state of mind. Because America the beautiful gave 20 years of sacrifice for an instant decline. Yet everyone keeps acting like we've still got more time.